Your wounds and your gifts are next door neighbors. Really let that sink in. Your wounds and your gifts are next door neighbors. Why am I talking about this? Well, I'm on my way to therapy and I'm going to give you an update about what I've been learning. So, in the book I've been reading, it talks about how knowing what your wounds are critical to healing them. So it makes sense that you couldn't heal something if you couldn't identify it. People always say the first step is acknowledging it, right? So how can you acknowledge something if you don't know what it is or the root of it is? And it sounds so simple, but because the world teaches us not to be in tune with ourselves and to ignore our intuition, it actually can be harder to tap into this than one might think, especially if you were taught to have more avoidant tendencies through how you were raised, or if your emotions were dismissed a lot when you were a child, or if people dismissed your emotions, like maybe you were a more in tune child or adult, but others dismissed your emotions, leading you to ignore your intuition. Well, I have a little tip, a little pro tip. Literally, I'm learning this in therapy. So, if you're not sure what your wounds are, look at your gifts. And they usually can be closely tied together. So, whatever you tried really hard to, whatever you might be like passionate about, is probably closely related to like something that hurts. So think about that. I know for me, the more that I've done this healing journey, I had a belonging wound. And when I look back at all of like the friendships I had, even boyfriends, I had that little like fixer mentality where I wanted to save people. And really like the root of it, when I would see people who didn't have a lot of friends or people who labeled themselves as broken, I wanted to fix that. I wanted to be their best friend. I wanted to heal others. And I know God appreciates my heart and the good intentions, but that's not healthy to try to save others, because there's only one Savior. So I had to learn fixing people is not my job and saving people is not my job. There's only one Savior. But loving people is my job, and that's something I've always been a lover girl. I've always really wanted people to feel loved and included, and there is a healthy way to do that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I was drawn to the beauty industry, because it's a way where you can make people feel beautiful inside and out. And I know that might sound silly to some, but a lot of the times when people are in your chair, like I used to be a hairstylist, now I'm in aesthetics, people are in my chair for an hour minimum, hour and a half. And they open up about their lives. They tell me things that they don't tell anybody else. I often hear things they're not even telling their husbands or their best friends in fear of judgment. I mean, it's really like you're really people's therapist, because you're sitting with them for so long and they're opening up to you about, and I'm not actually claiming to be a therapist, but people treat it as such, is what I'm saying. And I love that. I honestly love that people feel safe enough to confide in me. And that's something that heals my heart in a way, because I want to help heal others. And part of that is showing up authentically and just accepting people as they are, whether they're being perfect or ugly. And I know it sounds silly in the beauty industry, but people just crave to be seen, heard, and understood. Most people crave to be seen, heard, and understood. And the beauty industry, you get to give people a little pick-me-up and have a little conversation, and in a non-judgmental space, which is what most people are craving. So try to be the good in the world, and if you're having trouble identifying your wounds and healing, consider that your gifts and your wounds are next door neighbors.